Bahoni Africa. Welcome to Bite Size Democracy, a weekly show that focuses on issues around the African continent. Our show gives you a snapshot of what's happening in Africa in fun, informative bite-sized segments. Please do join in conversation and follow us on Twitter at Afrique_democratic and like our Facebook page. Our hashtag is #BSDemocracy. On today's show, we have Ibraheem Sanusi, who is the Deputy Head of the African Governance Architecture Secretariat, also known as AGA. Welcome to the show, Ibraheem.
Thank you very much, Otilia. It's nice to be here.
We might as well get into it. What is AGA?
The AGA, as we call it, is basically the platform for dialogue amongst the various organs and institutions of the African Union, including regional economic communities, with a mandate on democracy, governance, human rights, and elections. So what we basically do is we foster synergies and complementarities amongst all these organs, about 17 of them, who work on various democratic governance issues to begin to interact amongst themselves, work together to be able to address more collectively issues that relate to democratic governance on the continent.
Okay. One of your objectives is listed as to promote interaction between stakeholders and citizens. How have you done this?
Well, citizens' engagement is a vital component of the work that we do, and this is centered on the union's agenda to change the outlook, the perception of the union as a more citizen-centered organization. And we do this in two kind of strands. The first strand looks at our online engagement, leveraging the ICT penetration on the continent today, and of course the fact that a lot of young people have access to ICT tools and social media networks and likes. So we leverage on that through engagement using our hashtag DigiTrends, which is our trends monitoring tool, to get in the know of what citizens understanding and perception of democratic governance issues in their country. For us on the back end of that hashtag, it helps us to also do early warning in terms of issues that we should be paying attention to and calling our principals attention to also in terms of early response. We also, of course, open up the space in terms of engaging the political leadership of the union with the citizens. So we've engaged the chairperson of the African Union Commission in a Twitter chat. We've had, as you see recently, the Mujadala Africa debate for the contestants for the office of the chairperson. We've had tweet chats on Democracy Day, September 15, with the Director of Political Affairs of the AU. We've had the same with the Commissioner for Political Affairs, Dr. Aisha Abdullahi, in several occasions. So the idea is, these individuals are often seem inaccessible to citizens. How do we bridge that gap? So we bring them together in that kind of format. The other strand is our offline engagement, which is now where we go to citizens in terms of direct consultation. We've been doing this since 2014, particularly focusing on young people. We believe that if close to about 65% of the continent is below the age of 35. That is a group that we really need to pay a lot of attention to. I mean, using the Pareto principle, it is the 20% group that we think will give us the 80% results that we want. So we've had all kinds of engagements, whether it's a formal forum, looking at issues of constitutionalism like we did in 2014, or issues of silencing the guns that we did in 2015, or issues around youth participation in political processes like we did in 2016, in 2015, and in 2016 we had engaged young people in a regional consultation in Accra, Windhoek, Tunis, and Kampala, bringing all the regions together to look at issues around human rights and how young people envisage a decade of human rights on the continent. So we do all this kind of engagement. We also provide training programs and capacity building for youth wings of political parties, which we've done in 2015. This year we're looking to also join the global campaign around Not Too Young to Run, which is basically looking at removing restrictive and prohibitive criteria for young people to participate in political processes. We are also launching our leadership program this year that looks to train young people who want to run for political office, but young people also who work in electoral management bodies, and also young people who are engaged in the in civil society organizations, calling young people to participate in electoral processes. So these and many more are the initiatives that we've been working on to try and encourage young people, but citizens generally, to engage with democratic governance processes.
Okay, as a young person, how do I access the leadership? If I want to be a part of the leadership training, how do I go about it?
What we normally do for any of our programs is we've normally launched an open call. So we have this elaborate open call process that will normally around whatever programs that we have, and we have a broad range of criteria that we look at: regional representation, gender representation, and then of course the diversity in the kind of work that these young people do, because we also recognize that young people are not just a particular group. It's a very heterogeneous group. So we ensure that we engage young people, those in high school, those getting out of high school, those in college, those who are out of college, entry-level career professionals, mid-level career professionals, and even young individuals who are already at the senior level. So we engage all these young people, and these are the criteria that we use to select participants for any of our program.
Okay. As a young person yourself, what do you think is the role of the youth in Africa?
I think that we, as young people, we have huge roles, and I would rather couch it in this way: that one, we have a moral responsibility as human beings to fix whatever challenges we see in our environment. I think it is one of the only reasons why God has given us the brain faculty and the ability to think as an individual, to be able to reflect on our circumstances and be able to find a solution. So one, we have a moral responsibility. But that moral responsibility now becomes even far more important within the African context, where we have quite a number of challenges that we grapple with, whether it's on peace and security, whether it's on service delivery, whether it's on what the future holds, not just for us alone, but even for the generations to come, to apply that ability. And if you look at a group with that large bulge, that demographic bulge, to be able to effect what you would call a transformative change on the continent, I believe it has to be the young people. Where there is the energy, there is the ability to be reckless, which means that we can think a lot more broadly, we can take a lot more risk, but more importantly, we're ready to roll our sleeves and do the work that is required to fix the continent. And I think that for me is our responsibility, the ability to apply ourselves to resolving our common challenges, whether you're in Cairo or you're in Dakar or you're in Jinja in Uganda, or you're in Oshobo in Nigeria. The ability for young people in all of these corners who are, to be honest with you, very entrepreneurial, very smart, who are already engaged in their own little ways. But we need to do a lot more. We need to be able to get a critical mass, the numbers that is needed to be able to effect the kind of change that we want on the continent. And I think that is our responsibility.
On that profound note, thank you so much, Ibrahim, for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
As Ibrahim said, it's our responsibility as the youth to change what we don't like. It's our responsibility to fix the continent. What you don't like, it's up to you to change. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You're never too young to get involved. Start from where you are. Don't wait to be elected or to be in a position of power. Start by picking up that litter. Those little things that you do amount to developing the African continent. Odabo.